shout out to Hoops Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoops Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoops Jargon. Shout out to Hoops Jargon.
What up, everybody, man? And shout out to Hoop Jargon. And I just gotta lead in with some theme music, man. So if y'all bear with me for a second. I know y'all remember this. I know y'all remember this. And it's a reason I named this. I'm using this song for this situation. Y'all know what it is, man. The man right here. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. So if y'all don't know, man, and I'm going to do this no matter how many people on this stream, because this needs to be said, man. So as I always say, unless you've been hiding under a rock, swimmer Lia Thomas, quote unquote Lia, used to be named William, is now the number one swimmer in the NCAA and was formerly number, was it 4? I want to make sure I'm not speaking erroneously. 424 in Division I sports. Currently number 1. Currently beating out Olympians, right? So let me go to the piece of work. So it's no conjecture here. It's not me just making some story up out of the clear blue sky. This is madness, man. CMI in the building. Appreciate you, brother. And you know what? Let me start the right way. It was a movie in the early 2000s. Let me get the graphic for this movie, man. This is like, it's almost like, you know what? I hate to be a tinfoil cap. I hate to be a conspiracy theorist. But a movie that came out called Joanna Man, right? It seemed preposterous. This dude had a failed career. So he came back undercover he fell in love with Vivica Fox and all that stuff. In the WNBA, he just killing it for the LA Banshees, I believe the name of the team was. And this, again, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but what they call this is predictive programming. So they get you used to the idea of something, and then whoever X many years, they roll it out. So with the Joanna Man concept, it literally has come to life now with the swimmer, Lia. They probably did this stuff all out of order. Every time I upload this stuff, it just does what it want to do. But yeah, so this is from an actual article. Lia Thomas beat 2 Olympic medalists amid protests to make history as the first trans athlete to win an NCAA title. And I want to start off with this. In the society we live in, it is hard for a lot of people to grasp this thing we call reality. And in reality, you can say what you want to say. You can be who you want to be. But that does not mean people have to accept it. And in this case, you got a person born as a male, performed at Penn University for 3 years as a male athlete. For whatever reason, is his reason. Decide to transition over to be a woman. And now you want to compete over on the woman's side, we talking biologically speaking, and you're demolishing them. Not only in your conference, I think Penn is in the Ivy League, you're going to dominate women everywhere. And let's just be honest here, man. Let's just be honest here. This is some bullshit. This is some bullshit. Because anatomically, you are faster, your fast twitch muscles, as they call them, you're stronger than your competition, but you want to identify as a woman. And now society is letting you do that. And we see the results. We see the results. Just like on Joanna Man. Joanna Man was killing them. Let me go back to my Joanna Man picture. When last time you see the girl dunk like that? I understand it's a fiction story, but the way that she was dunking, like it was like a man, literally. So when you let society run amok, you get situations like this. And I'm not going to lie, man, I'm kind of happy it is, because we got to see this stuff to be as silly as it really is. because doggone well, men and women don't belong on the same playing field like this. We know, unless it's co-ed, then let it be co-ed, no problem. But when you're trying to pass off a genetic male, off to as a female, you're going to see what's going to happen. And for the people saying, oh, well, fair is fair, identity is identity, what you don't see is a biological female who wants to be identified as a male, go into a male sport and dominate. Food for thought, right? So we understand that men and women are different. We know that. But in this society, people want to tell you that, oh, no, we're the same. It's however you feel. So I'm 38 years old. So you telling me if I want to identify as a 18-year-old, I can go back to school and get 4 more years of basketball eligibility. Now, granted, that wouldn't behoove me. So maybe if I went over to the women's side, I maybe had some success, because I ain't gonna lie, I just had a talk with Sub-Zero, man. Shout out to Sub-Zero. I'm not as good as I used to be, man, and I accept that. But what you're seeing right now is people taking advantage of the obscurity of today's society, and I just don't. I'm sorry, guys. That don't fly with me, man. That don't fly with me. So to go further in the article, so it says Thomas, well, no, that's that. See, it's all out of order. That's okay. I got my phone right here. So it says Lia Thomas, the transgender University of Pennsylvania swimmer who has faced a media storm over a switch from a men's to women's competition, made history as the NCAA's first ever trans champion in Division I. During this week's NCAA championships in Atlanta, Georgia, 20-year-old senior secured her first NCAA championship victory as protesters rallied against her participation just outside the venue. Now, Hoop Jargon, I'm not a big fan of protesters. In my opinion, it doesn't do anything from a totality standpoint. But I'm not mad at people wanting to be very miffed about this, because if we're just being honest, feelings aside, ideologies aside, if we're just being honest, there's some bull dookie, man. It's some bull dookie. There is a distinct competitive advantage over what's going on right here. So let's just say this gentleman, William or Leah, whatever you want to call him, wanted to identify as 12 years old and go back into Pee Wee leagues and just dominate. Where does this thing stop? Is the point I'm making. Where does it stop? You can identify what you want to be and live your life, be happy, do that. That doesn't mean you have to subjugate everybody else to your personal identity. Let me say it again. Just because you identify as something and you want people to, you want to be known as such, does not mean we have to be subjected to your reality. And this right here, again, I'm kind of happy in the sense that this is going on, because this needs to be shown how absurd it is. But let me keep going with the article. I'm trying to link these up with my phone. Okay. So it goes, Thomas completed the first men's swim team. I'm sorry, YouTube is just jacking me up. Thomas competed for the first men's swim team at the University of Pennsylvania for 3 years before transitioning, undergoing hormone therapy, then switching to compete for the women's team in 2020. She has since broken a number of national women's swimming records in the U.S. Again, the 424th swimmer ranked. In the men's, you switch over to the women's and you're breaking records. You're exceptional. You're like one of the greatest swimmers that ever lived because you switched over to the women's bracket. How is that fair, man? And it says, including the 200-meter, 500-meter freestyle records at the Zippy International event in Akron, Ohio in December. Waymont, who competes for the University of Virginia, is considered one of the hottest talents in women's swimming, having already won an Olympic medal, taking silver in the 400-meter medley at Tokyo. Remember that? Sullivan, a star at the Texas Longhorns, who also won a silver medal in Tokyo at the finish behind Katie Ledecky in the 1500-meter free. So this newcomer who has no experience in this realm, who decides to change genders, is going there smoking these Olympians, right? Again, does that make sense? And it goes on to say, Thomas has faced a litany of backlash, including within her own team at Penn. So even her teammates know it's some bull dookie, man. So again, this is just not society stepping in and intervening in something that is unfair, unfavorable, or what have you. Even your own teammates calling you on your bullshit. And that's what it is, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry. It's bullshit. Let me continue on. So for competing in women's sports, despite having what naysayers perceive as a biological advantage or in being assigned male at birth, well, it's not perceived, it's reality. And that's something that it kind of bugs me that we don't like reality for some reason because it sounds bad. But we know reality that men and women are different. And in sports, men are anatomically stronger. So you are going to perform at a higher level than women in general. So why does it take a situation like this to understand that this is preposterous? It's preposterous. Let's keep going. So still after this is funny. So still after her victory, the newly minted champion said that she tries to ignore the controversy surrounding her competing in women's events. I'm sorry, y'all. That's funny. So you want to ignore the fact that you're clearly cheating. You clearly are cheating. And you want everybody else to basically look the other way when you know goddamn well you're cheating. She goes on to say, I try to ignore it as much as I can. She said, I try to focus on my swimming and what I need to do to get ready for my races is just try to block out everything else. This is so disingenuous, man. This is so just disingenuous. This is, you played 3 whole years where you swam for 3 whole years, right? At the Division I level, at the same college, at Penn University. So now all of a sudden, you got this new regimen of preparation. Disingenuous, man. This is disingenuous. Because in my opinion, this joker already know they cheating. So this joker is one of the biggest swindlers you'll ever see, man. This is the highest level. This is the highest level of a swindler, man. Now, as a swimmer in general, does William get respect from me? Yes, because to be a Division I athlete, you got to work hard. So the fact that he was 424 overall, you get a lot of respect from me because I'll never, ever, ever, ever disrespect a person who's a Division I athlete. And shout out to my guy Sub again. It's hard to play college sports. So I'm not here to bash this person just on the merit of them being a trash swimmer per se. But I am here to bash you on the sense that you're doing some bullshit and you know it. You know it. Because God doggone well, as a male athlete, you're 424th ranked. As a female athlete, you're dominating Olympians. So, I mean, even in your wildest of minds, if you just want to you feel like a woman, you want to be a woman, cool, do your thing. But when you inject yourself into competition, when you know you have the same exact ability, and you switch over to the women's side, a side that you know you can dominate, it's in bad faith, man. It's in bad faith. I'm gonna call you out on it. The swindler. I like that. Swindler. But in all jest, that's what she is. That's what this person is, man. They're swindling you. So, in my opinion, what Leah wants to parlay this into wealth, into notoriety, into acclaim. Because if it really was, you just want to identify as a woman or what have you, you could still swim with men because anatomically, biologically, you're still a man. So go there and compete where you've been competing for 3 years. But no, you want to come over to the women's side and just dominate. And the society is set up for nobody can tell you no because you set the framework that, oh, we're all the same, everything's equal, when we know damn well it's not the same. You go on the street right now, a man and woman are fighting. Most people would try to stop the man in a fight. We know this. We know this. This is not some secret that just came out right now, right? So this is so disingenuous, man. And that's why I take so much issue with what's going on because this person, I love that term. This is the swindler, straight up. Red Tyler said, if I was a female, I swear I'd be. I mean, exactly. Well, look at was it Adele? I love being a female, and people went crazy about that, like talking about, oh, well, how can you say that? Blah, 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 with the trans community and stuff like that. But like, yo, she's anatomically a female. Why can't she say she's proud of being a female? Where do we go wrong as a society that it is It is a insult for a woman to say she's proud to be a woman. Where do we go wrong? Somebody talk to me, man. So this person goes on to say, it means the world to be here, to be with two of my best friends, teammates, be able to compete, Thomas added. And you see ESPN is kind of gushing over the accomplishments as you see what's going on here. I mean, I understand ESPN is owned by Disney. I understand Disney is very inclusive. I understand all that. I'm sorry, dude. If I'm the editor on this board, I'm not highlighting this bullshit, man. I'm sorry. And people just gonna have to just take it how they want to take it. Because we all know it's bullshit. I'm sorry. So let us keep going. Okay, so it looks like that one. All right, so it says the crowd was in the arena, which belongs to Georgia Tech, was mixed with reaction to Thomas's win. As she stood on the podium, she was largely applauded and cheered. Though some of the boos could be heard through the stands. So you know what's funny, man? Culture of swim culture is you don't really get boos, I'm sure. So you're bringing an element that isn't like normal with that sector of competition because people know you are cheating. You're cheating. That's what you're doing. You're cheating. I don't care about this blocking stuff out. I don't care about this identifying what you want to identify. I don't care this you with your best friends bullshit. You're cheating. That's what you're doing. You're cheating. The reaction to Wing being announced as the second place winner, however, was significantly louder, almost universal cheering footage. So basically, people are going and showing their approval of the actual winner because this individual, Lia, was not the winner. Because why? Lia cheated. The ultimate loser mindset. He needed to give up the sport ranked at 424. Well, you know what? I don't know what the implications are. I'd be sitting here lying to y'all if I knew how the hierarchy of swimming is, but I just know I respect all Division I athletes or just college athletes for any matter. But when you went over to the women's side and you see there's a distinct difference between the competition and the results show it, you're a cheater and you suck. You're a cheater. You took the easy way out. You took the easy way out. I don't care how anybody feels about it. That's how I feel. You took the easy way out, and people in the stands knew it, and that's why they cheered on the second place winner because they knew that was the real winner. It goes on to say a number of protesters were seen outside the event, with some in the crowd holding "Save Women's Sports." You done piss people off, man, because you're cheating. Banners. So according to ESPN's Kate Barnes, once a protester wore a shirt that read, "This man is a cheat." Boom. And that's real, man. Cheating. Now, again, if you want to identify as a woman, do your thing. I won't sit here for socially and tell you what you need to do with your life. Go live your life. No problem. But when you inject yourself in sports that are clearly defined by biology and you're coming in and you're cheating, I'm going to call your shit out just like these protesters. So good for them, man. And good for people who booed you when you won because you did not deserve that. You cheated. And so, yes, they said referring to Thomas as a woman. While there were upwards of 20 people there to rally against Thomas and trans women in sports, per Barnes, roughly a dozen of counter protesters gathered outside of Georgia Tech's Macaulay Aquatic Center in support of Thomas and other trans athletes. So here's my thing. I'm not saying if you want to transition to something else that you shouldn't be allowed to participate in sports. What I am saying is you need to play against, especially if you're a man originally, against other men or other trans men. And then it's fair game then. Make a third category. Since y'all like, these categories, I don't know why y'all trying to inject yourselves in binary categories when you like to be fluid. You like to be non-labeled. So just have a third category. Men's, women's, and trans competition. And y'all just go to trans competition and do y'all thing. What's wrong with that? Oh, that's labeling. Funny. That's funny y'all don't want to go in your own shit. What you want to do is infringe on other people's shit and make everybody else uncomfortable. We understand basic universal truths. That's what I find funny. You know what? Let a big, strong black man do that. He's going to see how they change the rule back. No, that's not true, actually. There's a black dude in track. I forget what state, in high school. And he's demolishing them in track. So that's not necessarily true. So one thing I don't do here is I'm not so hung up on race. I'm hung up on observable reality. And observable reality is I've seen the black dude dominate too. Yeah, so I have seen that. So I won't act oblivious to what I've actually observed. Talk about Washington State. I got my Houston fans in here, man. Deshaun Watson is officially gone, man. I know y'all's hearts are broken, but I mean, they prepared y'all enough for that trash they've been putting out the last 2 years. So to finish off the article, it says, as far as Thomas herself is concerned, there is no debate. In a recent Sports Illustrated feature, she's offered a remarkably simple explanation for why she belongs in the women's side of the pool. Interesting that Sports Illustrated gives her attention. So this, to me, is the hustle. This is a hustle. The hustle is you be the first to blah, 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 blah. You get all this accolade, you get all this adulation, and you get attention that you would not have gotten on the other side. This is a hustle. I kid you not. So the fact that Sports Illustrated, let's flip it on its head. Do you think Sports Illustrated would want to interview the 424th ranked men's swimmer at Penn University? I'll wait. The answer is absolutely not. So the hustle now is to build your personal profile and make it all about this and do this situation here. Now, I won't say that Michael Sam necessarily wanted that outcome, but a lot of people do purport that. And I say it because I've had the opportunity to meet Michael Sam twice. Y'all know my vocation in the regular world is I'm a salesman. I actually happened to sell him a product about 3 years ago. And I went to the Super Bowl party at the Lucky Strikes down here in LA. And I got to see him. I got to meet him again. And I know he likes football. He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year, I believe. So I know he was about football. But then he started to kind of feel like it's about being the first gay guy. And that put a lot of people off. So it seemed like he wanted to be more of a celebrity than a football player. And I totally understand how people they don't want to roll with that. Because people who like sports like the sport. They don't like all the extra optics. So in a sense, this kind of feels like Michael Sam, but to me, this is a whole nother realm further. To me, this is a straight opportunist. So it goes on to say the very simple answer is that I'm not a man. Yes, you are. Thomas said, I'm a woman, so I belong on the women's team. When literally a semester ago, you were literally on the men's team. But just in this magical sense that you decided you want to be on the women's side, now everybody has to identify you as a woman. That is some bullshit. So to me, this individual Lia is trying to latch on to a movement to elevate the profile. Y'all got to peep game with stuff like this. And to round it out, she says, trans people deserve the same respect as every other athlete gets, she added. Okay. And I'm reading this article as I go, so I haven't read any of this. I knew the outer optics, and that would compel me to make the video. I see a lot of people comment on it, so that's why I'm doing this. But respect as an athlete, no problem. Yeah, in the men's side, being 424, like it's respect that you're a Division I athlete. Nobody's contending that. Where you don't get respect is you flip over to the other side, and there's a stark contrast of what you're doing. Now, if you flip over to the women's side and you was number 400, people be like, well, shit, it's not a big gap, no problem. Do what you do. You go from 424 to number 1, beating 2 Olympians. Oh, man, I don't want to say what I really want to say, but come on, man. Come on, man. So it says, in the same interview, Thomas expressed her desire to compete beyond college and potentially book her ticket in the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. U.S. swimming officials say they have no issue with, let me see, because these kind of went out of order. Well, so I'm gonna paraphrase him, is that they don't have any issue with her competing forward. And I'm gonna say, listen, man. Listen here, Joanna, man. You can, for society standpoint, they may grant you that clemency. You may get the chance to go do that. But just know, real sports fans, we're going to be side-eyeing you, and we're not going to give you no quote-unquote respect that you want, because what you're doing is not honorable. What you're doing is not respectable. What you're doing is you're trying to force your own ideology on other people. And in general, it's not going to yield you positive results. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So I'm going to drop the link, man. If some of y'all want to come up and talk about this, we can. I've kind of got my preamble out the way. I just think it's some horse shit, man. And I really hate to see sports be subjugated for this kind of thing because it takes away the purity of sports away. And the reason why people like sports because it's fair and the best of whatever category go against each other and you see who's the best. That's what makes sports what it is. So when you start manipulating obvious changes, obviously that takes away from the quality of the sport and it makes it less attractive. So let's just say LeBron James tomorrow decides since he's old, oh, I want to be a woman now and play in WNBA and win 10 championships. He played till he's 50, right? Who wants to see that? Who wants to see that? Shout out P Rose in the building, man. What's up, P?
How you doing, Jargon? How you doing, man?
Man, chilling, bro, man. What you got to say about this subject matter, bro?
Yeah, listen, I don't I ain't got nothing against, people in, the LGBTQIA plus community. I ain't got nothing against them. My thing is the same people that are the only reason there's a lot of people being silent on this, and those same people are the same people that were crying about we want equality in women's sports. We want this equality. We want that equality. Well, now y'all got it, and you see what happens, but then y'all don't want to say nothing because y'all because of the fear of being called a ist or a ob or a ism or all that stuff. Mm-hmm. The fear of having somebody basically call you, a name that, can maybe, mess up your social media type, personality, but like it really doesn't have effect on your personal, personal, proclivities and everything. And I feel like, if you don't call it out, but don't be clamoring for something. And when it goes against, what you want to do, be silent about it. Because, it's not fair, in my opinion, that this stuff happened because you're taking away opportunities from, biological females that worked their asses off years, since they were children to reach the point of being on the national stage, in whatever sport. So, my thing is, how, I don't want to be like, well, they just can't compete, if they're transgender. I'm like, if you're going to have that, have like a transgender, gender neutral, something like have a division for them. Don't just intermingle, transgender woman to like biological woman, because that's not going to be fair. And some people might think, that's misogynistic, but I'm like, y'all the same ones that say, care about women's sports, care about this, care about that. And you see how, debilitating it is to the mental state of these actual women that are working hard to see that, this stuff is happening. And basically it's like they don't really have a fair shot. So,
because in short, what you're saying is you're undermining the quality of the league. You're undermining the quality of the sport. When you make everything so malleable, meaning, you can change all these things and all this, but at the end of the day, we want to see mano y mano, fair competition. And then, so like you said, when you put it to people like, oh, well, you got to respect this sector of sports and respect all this. And then you just make it so just changeable. It's like, what is that to really respect? What is there to take serious? That I want to buy in and observe this. And the fans let it know when they were booing this person winning the first place thing, because they know they didn't show up for that shit. They showed up to see the best biological woman win that championship. And that's not what they got. And they are not pleased with their result. So people know that intrinsically, but I would challenge that same person in public spaces won't step up and say, hey, this is this and this is that. And when you don't do that, you leave room for all this undefined. And this is kind of the result of that line of thinking, in my opinion. But
I say that in all sports because this is not the first time I've seen it. So when my little sister was in high school, she ran and she just she graduated last year, but she ran track in high school. She ran 4x4, 400, 800, and 200. Mm-hmm. And there was in a 400 meter dash, and there was a male that transitioned to a female. He was a senior. My sister was a freshman, and he straight up dusted. Obviously just dusted everybody. And what had happened, and then my sister was upset, and I'm like, why this is allowed, and then I talked, and then parents, they thought about protesting, but it's like, they didn't want to get into all the legal stuff, about it. And what I realized is that when you put identity politics and you intermingle them with sports and everything, like you said, it basically undermines the value of the sport. And it's like, for me, it's like, you're telling me to care about this. You're telling me to care about, women's sports and all this stuff and, empowering young girls to do this. You're telling me to care about this. But at the same time, you're undermining the same women who want to be on that level. Like, and the sad and the crazy part is when you call them out on that foolishness, they want to call you all types of names and they want to get mad, but they cannot. And the thing is, they can only call you names because they can't argue. They can't argue with any type of fact. It's all emotion. It's all of, I feel this way, where I think I should do this way, or I think she should do this, or I think I feel. There's nothing that's really pragmatic or factual in their arguments. And once you realize that, that's when they start, emotional this and Twitter that. And, and it's sad that a lot of people cower down. They bow to that mob, instead of standing on their own morals. So, that's my thought.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because it's like, man, you got to stand for something in this world. And if you just go get along with everything, your passions, your morals, your balance, it moves with the wind. And I think some people want it to be that way. So you basically can't nail down anything to a standard. But the beautiful thing about sports is that most of us who observe sports, we know that on some level it's a standard. It just is. That's why, like, all championships aren't the same. That's why we don't revere all people who have, let's say, a guy with 2 championships, or like let's say one. Who has a championship? Dwight Howard has a championship. We don't equate his with Dirk Nowitzki's because we know Dirk fought harder for his championship. And that's the beauty of sports, that we can sit back and watch both guys win a championship. Dwight as a 5th option, Dirk as a 1st with an aging team. We know that, like, Dirk pulled off a feat that not many guys can say they can do from the history of NBA going forward. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes this beautiful, because we can discern that, we can understand that, and we can appreciate that. But if you see Dwight Howard switch over, go play for the Sparks and go win 10 championships, nobody respects that, because it's cheating. You know what I'm saying? So and shout out to INT Promo in the building. I appreciate you, brother. You know what I'm saying? So we just got to be honest about these conversations. And I'm a pro honesty. This is a pro honesty platform, man. It's not a feel good platform, because I think I could easily see somebody spinning this to like, well, everybody got to still have an opportunity. Well, you do have opportunity. You can go swim with the boys. That's what you can do. The same team you swam with the last 3 years. So it's not like this is foreign territory. You can take your ass back to the proper locker room where you've been for 3 years and swim. But no, you want to try to change everybody else's opinion because you feel a certain way, and that's your deal. Swim with the men. Go and live your lifestyle how you want to live it. Nobody cares about that. Go do your thing. But don't try to infringe your feelings upon what we know that is factual, which is biologically you have a stringent and ardent advantage over biological women in the sport of swimming.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. Like I've been seeing, the biological man transitioning. They're playing, on female basketball teams, and this is like, I forgot. It was this one incident, and I think it was in North Carolina where you had somebody transition, and it was like when they were like, and they were entering their junior year, but their freshman and sophomore year, they never. And it's not like to cast aspersions on the kid, but they didn't make varsity. They was on JV. They didn't average a good amount of points on the JV team and everything. They transitioned, they got on the girls team, made varsity, and is averaging like 35 points a game.
Come on, man.
Like all for it, like and it's been said like their teammates is like they're not getting the ball enough. They actually had a biological girl on their team that was like 4-star, going into like actually a 4-star going into her senior year. She ended up transferring because during the early part of the season, like her numbers went significantly down because she was averaging about 15, 16 points, and that's usually pretty decent, pretty good. But I'm like, this stuff.
One man pulled up on him.
and I'm like, and y'all think, and then it's like, oh well, like, oh, and it's like people's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with biological men just dunking on all types of females in a game, and like it was just like it looked like, and I'm like, it just like when I say like, and he was like he wasn't even that tall, like 5'10", but looking like Zion out there, and I'm like, and I'm like, does this bother y'all? Like, and then, because like I be watching these commercials. I don't know if you've seen the commercials about they shows like a girl and she gets bullied by boys and she ends up quitting sports, and they say, don't let this happen. Don't let these girls quit. Motivate them, help them, assist them. And I'm like, and then you see this, and then they glorifying this the same people, and I'm like, y'all don't see how hypocritical it is. But it's I feel, or we should respect their feelings. And I'm like, I don't got a problem with what you do. What you do is what you do in your own life. Just don't ruin it for these other girls out here. Yeah. And
go ahead.
No, yeah, I'm good. You go.
So basically, the ideology is we're supposed to just ignore. Let's say on a given basketball team, there's 12 to 14 girls. So we ignore the feelings, expectations, what have you, for 28 other people for one person. Where in life does that apply? Like, where in life can you apply that ideology? And the answer is nowhere. That's not how the world works, man. And it's unfortunate that this is starting to seep into sports because, again, this is one of the more pure entities in the world, because the workplace is balanced out for the most part. Political, sphere is balanced out. But in sports, it's like literally you see two different entities, two polar opposites compete amongst each other. And now you're trying to blend those together when you see, to my point earlier, you don't see biological women transition to men, go in men's sports and kill, because it's not possible, because you don't have the biology. You don't have the biology in your favor. You don't have the anatomic advantage. So we see it's a one-way thing. Anybody with two eyes and a sound mind can see it's a one-way thing. So it's just funny that we don't see the stories going the other way. It's always one way. I think it's an MMA fighter, gentleman, switched over to be a woman, whooping ass. Like we see this across the board. So it just kind of goes back to the whole equality thing, in my opinion. Equality, I'm for like people having equal chance, equal opportunity. But when you take equality to the point where you're making favoritism, when you're making exceptions for people, I think people in general don't roll with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel you. I think people get so caught up in equality that they forget about equitability.
Mm-hmm.
They've, equality and equity, similar but different. Equality that mean, equality meaning everything is the same, exactly the same. Equity means everything, having the opportunity to have the same, being the same, well, having the same opportunity, having an opportunity to be the same. Like it's like the NFL, like it's a meritocracy, basically. Mm-hmm. There's nobody, in really professional sports all around, there's nobody equal. You have your max guys, you have your mid-level guys, you have your, what's it called, journeyman. So like the different levels. So it's not equal, but it's an equitable opportunity because everybody has a chance to earn money, or everybody has a chance to make, a living. It's the same, and it trickles down to the high school, middle school, college level. And INT promo, I see what you said. It does compromise the integrity of the sport. And and the thing is, when people start, and then these same people that are saying, like I said earlier, it's gonna come a point where people are gonna just start turning their TV off and not watching this.
Yes.
It's I ain't trying to be blunt or disrespectful. It's a whole bunch of foolishness, and people think, some people gonna say, well, why you are doing this and why you going after this person? I'm not going after the person or the people that decide that they want to make the decision. I'm going after the people that allow this, that basically allow this to happen, and basically, co-sign with this, but also say another thing. You co-sign with debilitating the same group of people that you're trying to help. And it's like, I don't know if they don't see it, because in my mind, it feels like they know what they're doing. They just don't care. And then they act oblivious, and it's like, no, I'm not trying to hurt them, or no, I'm not trying to do this. We just want equality. We just want this. And I'm like, and it's like, anybody with a sensible brain, anybody with common sense will know that this stuff don't make any kind of sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't, man. And so, that's why I speak more unapologetic, because when you kind of let these lines get blurred, this is the result. Because you don't just put a staunch like, no, man. If a person wants to identify on the other side, no problem, dude. No one can tell you can't do that. But you cannot force your personal views on everybody else, because you're infringing on us, right? So let's cut the shit. And I think, but on the front end, let's just say before this even happened, when you speak, and you tell people like, no, transsexual people should not be able to compete in the opposite side. Oh, you're just being you're being it's ism. That's, what you let in with. But no, what you're being is a realist. What you're being is honest. And when you're honest, we cut the head off this dragon. But when you let the dragon see through, guess what? The dragon gonna blow smoke, and the dragon gonna destroy shit. And it's your fault for not speaking on it. And to me, this is society's fault. You won't tell somebody like this, they know. No, you don't get to go compete on the women's side and go dominate and think that you've done something. No, God made your body to be stronger, faster. And that's what you're doing. It's not because you're this, it's not because you're performing above, equal, less, basically equal in the sense of like you have, because if we understand that all male athletes are not equal amongst each other, but we still are in the right category. Whereas you're in the category that you are predisposed to dominate. You're genetically predisposed to dominate. And everybody knows it, and that's why she got booed. And to be honest, Lia deserved it, straight up.
Yeah. She and it's like, and I was like, and people are gonna say, well, they go talk about what about women, what about women trying to play football and everything, because I've seen it. They some females are trying to play football and everything, and I'm like, because I seen them incorporating that, but I'm like, y'all, it like when somebody gets severely hurt, y'all gonna be up in an uproar. Y'all gonna be really, y'all be like, oh my, like y'all gonna, yes, like I'm just saying, like I've seen it, like the way me being in school, me seeing so much in school, my last couple years in high school, no. Girl was playing in school and actually had a girl that was they put her at strong safety, bro. They put her at strong safety, and the weird thing is like she came down like because it was a counter running back, like our school's running back. He's 6'4", she 5'6" at best, like from what I can see in the stand. She 5'6" at best, and she come up trying to tackle. She got ran over, through, around. Like, it was bad. Like, you just heard a boom, and she was laid out and everything, and all you could hear was like, "Oh my gosh, how sexist are you? She's just a girl."
Yeah, okay.
I was like, "Hey, well, she decided to get in between them white lines, and once you're in between them white lines, there's no friend and there's no foe. It's either you going down or I'm going down." So, I've seen that, but it's like I feel like people today, like when it comes to these issues and everything, they don't care. The truth doesn't matter to them. They don't care about the truth. They say it's their truth, how, like I said, what they feel. And, they'll go with their feelings and their emotions over actual fact. And, if society continues to allow this, it's going to become, fact, actual facts and pragmatism is going to be, swooned away. And it's going to be, well, if you feel this way, it must be the right way. Or if I feel this way, it must be the right way. Not, what is in reality. People want to be in, people want to act in causality, not reality. And, it's just crazy, man.
It's crazy. It's beyond crazy. And I had the privilege to interview, be a part of an interview for a lady. She coaches for Bruce Arians. She's one of the first female coaches. I forget her name. I'm so sorry. I forget her name. But she was talking about how different it was playing football on the women's side and the men's side. Because when she got on the men's side, she saw like, oh my God, this is way different. Because she played linebacker, on the women's side, and then on the men's side, it was only running back that she could play. Pretty much that's it. And her words, she held her own, but she saw that it was a distinct difference. Like it wasn't even close. So we got to stop lying about this shit, man. We have to stop lying. We got to stop making rules as we go, because it's not succinct, it's not honest, and most importantly, it's not accurate. It's not accurate. So in the cracks of all that, idealism, you got a person like Lia come in and just dominate a side of the sport where it shows that her personal skill set is, in a natural sense, you're 424th ranked. No shade, no smoke, but that's what you are. You transition to the locker room over, and now you're the number one swimmer in the world. Come on, man. Come on. Like, I mean, do we need a scientific process to investigate what's going on right here? Do we really need to do all that?
I mean, I guess so, man. With all the stuff going on, man, I don't know, man. Because I look at it like, when it's gonna come. I think it's gonna come to a point where I'm like, if people don't start, standing up, against the foolery, it's gonna come a point where it's like, are y'all content with this stuff happening? I know like people are sad, but I'm like, the people that are y'all content with this continuing to happen? Because it's gonna continue to happen unless somebody just says something.
Absolutely.
And a lack of preparation on your part, it constitutes on everybody else, especially, future generations and everything. And I was like, and, I'm looking at, my little cousins that are, they're female, they're, 9, 10, 11 years old, and they're getting into sports. They're starting to run track. They're starting to play basketball. They're starting to, do gymnastics. And if this happens, I was like, what if they're a really good athlete and this stuff happens and they get robbed of, they don't get the scholarship they wanted, or they don't get in the dream school that they wanted to get into, or they have an opportunity, let's say, they have an opportunity, there's a girl that may have a gymnast that may have an opportunity to go to the Olympics or something like that, and they get their opportunity taken away. And then it won't be because, they weren't good enough, but it's like you say, but it's like y'all, they can't see. It's like, it's an unfair. It's not fair. It's like, it's really the event. Cause I watched, I don't know. Did you watch? I watched the whole swim meet and everything. I watched like all 3 rounds and all the rounds and everything, how they do that stuff. Different in college than it's a little different in college than it is like the world stage.
Okay. And
I'm like, she has a lead, and like it's not that she's getting a good jump, a good start. It's just boom, and it's over before she touches the end of the pool to come back to the other end to finish the race. It's over. It's not even close. And I'm like, this ain't interesting. And I seen in basketball, just somebody just, walking up the court, handle, rising up, dunking, getting the steal, blocking everything, dunking. And, you see these girls on the sideline, shoot, it'd be a miracle if I get 5 points this game. Shoot. But, it's just, it's sad But it's sad. But like this stuff infuriates. It infuriates me. One, because it's unfair. Two, because it's hypocritical. And three, because because these people that are condoning this and pushing for it, it's just they're not using their brains, or they're choosing not to use their brains.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I mean, it's selective. It's selective intelligence, man. You understand. I mean, here's the thing, man. Like I think what you said was prophecy, man. Well, prophetic. That you said that in a controlled environment, woman playing football, and a dude just knock a block off. People's natural reactions, man, that's a girl. Why you gonna do a girl? Like, no. She out here with the fellas. Like, you gonna get treated like the fellas. But intrinsically, even if they don't say it verbally, they feel that shit like, oh, damn. Why you get that girl like that? You know what I'm saying? Because we understand basic shit. So when they act like they don't understand basic shit, us normal thinking people, it really rubs you the wrong way, because it's like, dude, come on now. Like, what are we really talking about right here? I got two eyes just like you. You understand that there is definitely a difference between that person and that person. What do we sit here lying about? And so, bring it all to a head. What we're talking about right here. That's why it's just a joke. I mean, it's just call it what it is. It's a joke. And then like the governing board is going to decide, where do you want this joke to stop at? Because it has to be an endpoint. Because what's going to start happening is you're going to start recruiting, or like, let's say, manufacturing transgender athletes, or athletes just applying for the other side just because they want to get an opportunity when they don't have one on the other side. And it's just going to be a menace. This compares this to actually a football situation where a dude, he was like 26, 27 years old, and he went back. He went back and got a new identity like he was 18. And I think he ended up getting a scholarship at the University of Texas or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
He's like an All-American. Like, so dude, this ain't just gender exclusive. This is like age exclusive.
Yeah.
You got a grown, well-developed, in-shape man come back and purports to be 18 years old. It's the same result, because we understand the playing field's not level. It's not equal. So let's just stop being disingenuous, man.
And the one thing is, I don't want people, it's like, I know people can, concerned about, I think people get too concerned about what others may think of them when they call out this stuff. I'm like, I don't care. You call me whatever you want, but I'm like, you can't, like, I can't just deny what my eyes see. Like, and that would be, if I did that would be basically me denying my own moral compass and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna come to a point, because you call it a joke. I'm just like, this is a shit show. Like, this is what it is. It's a shit show. It is, you are prognosticating and pushing this narrative and all this, and a whole bunch of people drinking up that Kool-Aid until it happens to them. And then when it happens to them, they too scared to, like I said, they too scared to speak, because, I don't want to be this, I don't want to be distant. And I'm like, at some point, you are either going to stand on your rock, stand your ground on your beliefs, or you just gonna be cast away with everybody else. Mm-hmm. You're gonna fall. It's gonna be a great falling away. And some people just gonna get lost, and it's sad, but that's just the reality. That's just the reality of the situation. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to stand up, for on certain things, but when you know that something ain't right, and you choose not to do it because of, in a sense, peer pressure, basically, that's on you. But this situation is, it's just downright stupid, bro. It's just downright stupid.
Capital S stupid, man. Shout out to FYF Sports Debate and Build. He said, yeah, I've been following this story myself. Leah, when swimming with the NCAA, was a below average swimmer. He switched to women's, and now to get the GOAT. And again, if the disparity was not that great, I would be like, okay, maybe there's something to this. Maybe if he was number 300, I'll be like, okay, that's a clear difference. But all right, there are clearly women still way better. When you go to the swim goat, dude, when you are below, comparatively speaking. So I want to say again, I'm not disrespecting Williams' accomplishments at Penn, the Ivy League school. That's respect. But when you come over there and you the GOAT, this would be the equivalent of Caitlyn Jenner going over to the women's side when, clearly he had his feelings about how he wanted to identify, but he killed in the men's sport, though. So everybody respects Bruce Jenner. So just imagine if Bruce Jenner wanted to be Caitlyn Jenner, 40 years ago and went to the women's sport and killed. It ain't no respect in that, but everybody knows that Bruce Jenner was really good in running on the men's side. So it's like, dude, like, come on, man, earn your keep where you at, man. Don't switch the game up and then act like society needs to deal with it. When we peep game, we know what you're doing. It's game. You're trying to get notoriety. You're trying to get acclaim because you're not that good on the men's side. And we got 3 years of evidence to prove that.
Yeah, because I ain't even lie. I'm looking on because I'm going back to the original ESPN post from yesterday, and what's it called? I forget who's this. Golden Tate, former NFL wide receiver. Yeah. Oh, he went off. He went off, and the mob came for him. Michael Rappaport. I can't say what that's just bad. But I'm looking at ESPN. I'm like, do y'all know? I'm like, it's already shown on ESPN, and then y'all basically giving it an award, and I wouldn't be shocked if Lia is in line for women's sports athlete of the year.
Are you kidding me? Absolutely, about to be in line for that. Sports Illustrated interviewed that person, and dude, you getting acclaimed as a 424th swimmer. Sports Illustrated is not going to come knock on your door. Sorry, not happening. So this is, come on, you peep game. INT promo says it, man. Great analogy. That because again, as crazy as Caitlyn Jenner is, nobody shits on Bruce Jenner's accomplishments. Nobody, because Bruce Jenner was nice at his sport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So people respect real shit no matter your sexual orientation. Because all the people who got a lot to say about Caitlyn Jenner, they won't say Bruce Jenner was trash at sports. Yeah. Nobody will say that. Because you'd be a damn first person on the Wheaties box or some shit like that. You'd be a damn liar, man. You'd be a flat out liar.
Yeah. And I was like, and then I'm looking at, somebody said, well, Lia Thomas should be included in the SP's Women of the Year conversation. I'm like, hell no. But it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she won it.
By a landslide, like she's doing
by a landslide. And they will be robbing Aaliyah Bot, and the person I think that should get it, like sports wise, you're robbing Sunisa Lee. She's the Asian American gymnast that won the most gold medals in the Olympics last year. Mm. She just turned 18. Then you got Aaliyah Boston. You got Aaliyah Boston, the center for the South Carolina women's basketball team. Candace Parker. A couple other ladies and everything. And like this is just it's it's just crazy, because it's gonna come. I think it's gonna come a point where the people that believe in this stuff, they're gonna turn their back. They're gonna end up going against their own beliefs, because they're gonna add this and then this is gonna happen, and they're gonna make rules. It is not gonna be because they want to. Is that they're gonna make so many rules and so many amendments to like NCAA rules that it's gonna end up going against what they thought they originally believed in, and they still gonna believe in the lie. It's like it's like going through. It's like walking. They're gonna be like walking in a maze without a map. You know, it's just they're gonna be walking in circles. They're gonna be walking in circles, and it's like for eternity. You know, just lost. You know.
Yeah. Well, I get what you're trying to say is they're gonna have a self-imposed paradox that they'll be in, a conundrum as it is, and it's gonna be really hard to get out of it because your passiveness to call things what they are is gonna make you be bound by tangible restrictions or guidelines that a freaking sport should be governed by, because your passiveness is gonna just create this whole nother wall of rules. Again, it's gonna create its own paradox, and you got nobody to blame but yourself for letting shit slide, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Yeah, but hey, I actually gotta go. I gotta go eat dinner for the cafeteria.
Bro.
For the cafeteria on campus closed. Let me. I got your notification. I actually had to search you up. I didn't know you was live. My notifications ain't been coming in lately.
See, man, I've been getting that, man. Dang, man, hit that notification, man. Y'all ain't done that. Do that too, man. I appreciate that. Damn, man, it's crazy. How'd you get to see it?
Yeah, man. But I catch y'all later, man. You stay blessed, man. Everybody in the chat, y'all stay blessed and everything. So.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate you, P-Rose. So yeah, man. INT promo that Jim Jones Kool-Aid. Hey, man. You know Jim Jones is a famous influencer to people to their demise, man, and that's reality, man. If you allow yourself to be told anything, you don't stand on any type of principle, you're all over the place, and nobody can save you. Nobody can catch you because you're uncatchable. You're not tethered to anything. And you don't want to be that kind of person, man. You just don't. You don't. So before we peace out, man, I'm about to go to a family event. But I do want to revisit the song of the day. Shout out to Mystical. Shout out to Lia. The man writes. What you gonna do, man? Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the way out. I appreciate all y'all, man. For real. What up, Smooth? Man, we had a hell of a. I had to let him say it. Man, we had a hell of a stream, man. We talked about what's going on, man. Hit the recap if you missed me. Appreciate you so much, Smooth, man. You always come and showing love to the channel, bro. Let me turn it off. You know, YouTube don't like people playing music. That mess me over. So, but thank y'all so much, man. I like to talk about stuff that people care about here, and I know with the replays, people will come in eventually. But this is just such a ridiculous situation, man. And most importantly, it just takes away from the purity of the sport, which is swimming. Now, I'd be sitting here lying to you if I said that's a sport I have a lot of passion for. But what I'm a proponent for is competition and fair competition. In my opinion, this situation we're seeing right now is just not fair. You don't go from being the 424th best swimmer in the male category, switch over to you want to identify as a female, and you're the number one swimmer beating 2 Olympians. Come on, man. Come on, man. We know what that is. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Smooth. I appreciate you so much, INT promo, man. You held it down in the comment section for your boy, man. So, I mean, again, I'm pro honesty over here, man. Not about feel good feelings. It's honesty, man. So, yeah, Joanna, man, you know what time it is. That's what you got Williams on, man, or Lia for that matter. That's what's going on. So, till next time, let's let LeVar Ball.
Shout out to Hoop Jargon, man. I'm gonna add you to the crew, man. This crew called Hoop Jargon. They've been getting at it, man. They the ones that's gonna grill you, man, because they majority are all Houston people. So that's
shout out to Hoop Jargon.
Man, I'm here with my man with Hoop Jargon, the best in the game, man. And you know I only live selected few in my circle. And this is the real dude right here. We gonna get down with the get